Hello, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Noontime Kapehan, brought to you by Decaf Coffee Republic, our coaching hub and home of certified life coaches here in the Philippines. Noontime Kapehan is our daily coaching conversation, reliving the Kapehan Night by Master Coach A, where she talks about life, love, relationships, money, career, and anything under the sun. Kapehan Night used to come live on floor and via FB every Tuesday night until the pandemic happened. We are bringing in Noontime Kapehan for a season only, while Brewing Live is taking a quarter break. So let me take also this moment to honor fellow coaches and entrepreneurs who served for 7 long months and fill the digital space with stuff that matters from September 2020 to March 2021. Watch out for the return of Brewing Live this coming July. Moving on, for today's episode, I will be sharing with you the steps to overcoming loneliness. So please do tag a friend and share this video link and invite others to join our conversation. So if you are watching this on a replay, please comment #replay and send us message if you wish to connect with any points that resonates with you. So the YouTube link where you can find the replay of all the past episodes of Noontime Kapehan is found in the caption of this video. Please do follow and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of all the future videos of the stuff to stuff your digital space with valuable content. Okay, so yun. So let's proceed with our topic for today. So actually, before I proceed, I would just like to greet our viewers. Hello, Coach Orville. Master Coach Hasmin. Hello. Coach Mau. Hello sa inyong lahat. Okay, so yun nga, as I was saying, my topic for today is about loneliness. Okay, so siguro ang iba sa inyo, you are wondering uh, why that is the topic I have chosen. So sabi nga natin nasa pandemic tayo and napaka-depressing na nga nung season natin, and then I will still choose a topic that is also not that hindi masyadong nakakasaya. Okay, so my point is this, okay? During this time of pandemic, we know in ourselves, ang dami naman talaga nating nararamdamang mga negative emotions sa buhay natin. Kaya lang, for the longest time, lagi nating iniiwasan makaramdam ng negative. We've been so used to avoiding negative feelings, whether it's sadness, loneliness, grief, ano pa ba, yung mga depression. Pag yun na pinag-uusapan, pag yun na yung topic, most of us, iniiwasan natin yun. We do not want to talk about it kasi, yun nga, sabi natin, depressing na nga, madedepress pa ba ako? Or sad na nga, masasad ako. The thing is, kakaiwas natin. We actually don't know how to handle those moments in our lives. And the truth is, okay, etong mga negative emotions natin are all valid. Natural yan. Mag-o-occur yan. Hindi natin yan maiiwasan. Meron darating at one point in our lives, makakaramdam tayo. Life is not all negative. Life is not all positive. And it's also not all negative. It's a balance between the two. And yun nga, kapag iniiwasan natin yung negative and expecting us na dapat hindi tayo nakaka-feel negative and dapat lagi tayong masaya, na laging positive yung emotion na nararamdaman natin. Actually, sa totoo lang, mas nakakaramdam tayo ng negative. Mas nararamdaman natin na bakit hindi tayo masaya. Instead of na-enjoy natin both the positive emotions and the negative emotions. Okay, so bear with me and let's talk about loneliness, especially this time of pandemic. Now we are again due to the lockdown, hindi natin alam, malilive, pero hindi natin alam kung babalik ba ulit yan or kung may extend or what. So it's better for us to talk about it. So loneliness. So what is loneliness? For our sa mga nanonood natin, when we encounter the word loneliness, what comes to your mind? How do you define it? Did you ever felt it in your life? So please do comment. So I would love to read kung ano yung definition nyo ng loneliness, if you have, kung naramdaman nyo na ba yon ever in your life. Yon. So, ilang taon na kayo? Or, sige, ako na lang. I'm close for living my 4 decades of life. Ano naman, close pa lang, hindi pa. But, throughout that almost 4 decades, I did felt that emotion of loneliness. And especially during those times na I'm starting to acknowledge and to acknowledge me being childless. Okay, kasi I've been married for 11 years and oh, by the way, I'm Coach C, okay, from Life Coach Philippines. Sorry, nakalimutan ko palang mag-introduce ng sarili ko. So I'm Coach C from the Life Coach Philippines. I'm a professional certified life coach and mental health coach. So my full name is Colleen Acapino Bercasio. Ayan. So, yun. And yeah, I am a wife and I've been married for 11 years and we are a childless couple. So during the latter part, siguro mga last 3 years, 4 years of my married life, doon ko actually in-acknowledge talaga na I can't bear. And yun yung mga pinakamalungkot na moment in my life where I really felt lonely. And it's not because wala yung husband ko dyan. Nandyan siya lagi. He never actually so, hindi niya ako iniwan literally, pero it's just that I felt that emotion of loneliness. So yun, so actually loneliness is defined as the feeling of being isolated, empty, unwanted, unloved, or unimportant. So with this definition, we can see that it's not just the physical isolation, it's actually also an emotional uh, isolation. Yung feeling ng empty and unwanted is not actually just physical. And feeling of unimportant is not just physical. So it's actually an emotional and mental state. Okay, but yes, as I was saying kanina, loneliness is a valid emotion. Okay, it is unavoidable and it is a natural part of life. Yung feeling ng loneliness is also created by God. Okay? But yun nga. So it is something to serve us. Hindi yan create to destroy us. But it has some meron yang silbi sa atin kaya yan created. It's also one of the emotions that we are feeling, we will feel. It is created also by God. So loneliness isn't something that you feel all of a sudden when you wake up in the morning. Actually, hindi naman pagising natin sa umaga, yun nga, we already feel lonely. Sometimes it's the combination of the events of our ng mga nakaraan natin. Pwedeng yung mga nakaraang matagal na or pwedeng just recent events. Okay, it is something that grows and develop over time. It's therefore not one thing but rather a combination of things, experience, and individual moments that come together and eventually leads to this feeling of loneliness. Pwedeng galing yan sa work or sa relationships, dun sa mga recent breakup or kaya recently hiwalay ang even if hindi ikaw yung yung like naka-experience ng hiwalayan. Let's say a friend of yours experience yung naghiwalay. Sometimes you feel lonely for your friend. 'Di ba? So, yun. And it's really very important for us to acknowledge it. Kasi kapag yun nga, hindi natin ina-acknowledge, sometimes when we see or a friend tells us that he or she is feeling lonely, kapag hindi natin alam kung paano siya i-deal with, sometimes yung baliwala natin, ini-ignore natin, pinagsasawalang bahala lang natin, habihin natin sa friend natin, hindi, okay lang yan, malalampasan mo rin yan. Although, sometimes, is that really helping your friend when you say that? So parang, kung ako ang nasabihan nun, parang ako before, when I am, during the times na nalulungkot ako for me being childless. Parang pag sinabihan ako, hindi, okay lang yan, bibigay din yan sa'yo ni God or just pray ka lang, ganyan. Pero parang sometimes kasi it does not really help it. Parang mas nararamdaman ko pa. Mas nararamdaman ko pa yung pagiging childless ko or pagiging, tawag dito, mag-isa ko. Okay. So, it's kaya parang here today we will be discussing later on kung paano siya mas doon i-overcome or i-manage so that we know how to do it for ourselves and also for our sa mga friends natin or sa family natin na nakakaramdam noon. Kasi what happens when we acknowledge these negative sides of our emotion is that we feel more compassionate about ourselves and also to others, and we became stronger. And when we know how to deal with these negative emotions, nagiging mas confident tayo uh, mag-move forward. Kasi alam natin, kahit maramdaman natin yan later, alam natin kung paano i-handle. Hindi yung natatakot tayong tawag dito, sumige or natatakot tayong sumubok ng isang bagay kasi baka feeling natin ganito. And when we don't know how to manage those negative feelings, doon yun yung nag-i-stop natin sa atin para kumilos, para gumalaw, para to take steps towards whatever it is that we wanted. Okay, so during this pandemic, okay, loneliness, a lot of studies says that the feelings of loneliness have increased during this pandemic because of course, the physical isolation. Kung dati, mag-isa lang tayo and kaya lang, dati kasi kahit mag-isa lang talaga tayo sa bahay. Wala tayong boyfriend or wala tayong wala tayong, kumbaga, single. Okay. Hello, President ng mga singles dyan, Coach Mao. Okay. So, like, yun, before the pandemic, okay, kahit single ka, you don't really feel that alone or that lonely. Kasi even if hindi ka na, ikaw yung tipo ng taong hindi naman talaga pala kaibigan or hindi ka naman talaga madalas lumabas. Tawag dito, yan yung mga tipong tao na mahilig magsolo. But before the pandemic, even if mahilig kang magsolo, sometimes you are forced to be with other people. Kasi like kunyari, pumapasok ka sa office. So pagdating mo sa office, nandun kayo lahat. Kahit ayaw mo, pero during lunchtime, meron kang dyan, makakausap or makakasama. Or during meetings, biglang mapapatawag si boss ng meeting or kaya biglang ng maramihan or even if one-on-one. Pero like you are not really parang physically alone kasi there are other people around you. So yung feeling of of loneliness, hindi siya ganon ka evident. Like we may be feeling lonely that time. Kaya lang may nagfo-force sa atin to communicate, to relate with other people, to engage with other people. Kaya lang, with this pandemic, yung social interaction natin really have greatly decreased. Kasi, di ba, sa office setup, okay, or sa school, kung nag-aaral kayo before. So, in a setup where there are a lot of people in the room, kahit naman mag-isa ka or wala ka sa meeting, ginagawa mo yung sarili mo, minsan nangangalabit lang yung katabi mo. Uy, ano na nga ito? Uy, pahiram ako ng lapis or pahiram ako ng ballpen. Uy, nawala ko yung ganito, pwede bang pahiram ako ng sayo? So, meron at meron yung kakausap sa'yo ng kahit hindi, tawag dito, kahit hindi lang yung sa mga importanteng bagay, hindi lang yung sila magko-communicate sa'yo dahil may gusto silang tanungin sa'yo. Or sometimes mag-hi hello lang sa'yo kasi nadaanan ka. Yung table mo nandun sa on their way to kung saan sila papunta. So nakakarinig ka. Nakakarinig tayo ng boses. Nakakakita tayo ng buhay. Kasi that's one also of the things na parang nag-decrease talaga. Like ako, we are in a condominium compound. And sa condominium, although tabi-tabi yan, pero sometimes yung katabi mong kwarto or yung room sa katabi, wala naman talagang nakatira yan. So, kahit tabi-tabi, pero kung walang nakatira or kahit yung paglabas mo, hindi naman talaga rin kayo magkakakilala ng mga kapitbahay mo sa condominium. So, now that we are in the pandemic, mas lalo tayo tuloy na tawag dito na-isolate. So lalo na kapag hindi tayo nakakalabas or yung kwarto mo nasa isang kwadrado lang, walang may bintana pero maliit lang. So yung signs of life, okay? Yung signs of life nabawasan. And parang pagtingin mo sa paligid mo, wala kang makita. Actually, kaya siguro nag-boom yung mga plants, 'di ba? Kasi it is a sign of life. Sasabihin ko sana pets, okay lang yun sa mga may compound. Kaya lang sa amin kasi bawal yung pets dito sa amin. So, ano talaga, parang ang hirap, if you want to feel or see signs of life, you really have to be intentional na medyo lalabas ka ng konti, lalabas ka ng saglit para kahit man lang yung tendera doon sa harapan ng bahay nyo, makausap mo or yung guard doon sa baba, makausap. Pero hindi, kailangan mo talaga siyang i-force yourself to see people, to experience signs of life. And then, yun, loneliness is not a pleasant experience during this pandemic. And it makes us feel sad and alone. And this really can lead us to depression and sometimes yun nga, thoughts of suicide. Mas na, kasi na-magnify. Nitong pandemic, mas na-magnify yung physical state mo na mag-isa ka and then even your na-adapt yan ng iyong mental and emotional state. So, as I have said, actually the loneliness is just a state of mind. Sabi nga ni Guillermo Maldonado, loneliness is not actually the lack of company. Okay? It is the lack of purpose. So, we have to really understand that concept. Okay, the being lonely is not actually just physical. It's not the lack of company. It is the lack of purpose. Kung dati may kasama tayo, may katabi tayo, sometimes we already feel that we are important. Kasi like kunyari, magtanong sila sa atin, may ballpen ka bang pwedeng hiramin? Hawak mo yung ballpen mo, pwede mong ibigay. O parang yung feeling natin, ay nakatulong ako. Stapler, papel, well, kung may nadaanan ka and you see people na nagbe-beg sa'yo for money. I mean, and you can give something, however small it is. I mean, you feel important. Pero this time na naka-isolate tayo, nasa kwadradong lang tayo, room, na halos, hindi tayo makalabas because of protocols. Hindi na natin makita kung ano yung sense of purpose natin. Okay, so before we continue, I would just like to acknowledge yung natin, mga viewers, Coach Rezzhel, thank you for being here. Coach Norge is from Benguet. Coach Partner, Glacy, hello. Ayun, Coach Dominic Gamutan, hello. Thank you for being here. Okay, so, yun, what this mean is that loneliness, okay, if loneliness is a state of mind, and it is not the lack of the physical company, but it's really a lack of purpose. So we can say that loneliness is not really a condition that you fall into. Like, sometimes we create it. Okay? Rather, it is a state of being where we choose to experience at any moment in time. It seems like we are not choosing it, but kasi if we let ourselves stay there, then yes, we are actually choosing to stay there. Kasi there, we can actually, we can get out of that state of mind, of that feeling of being lonely. Okay? And if it is something that we are choosing to do, that is powerful actually. When it is something that you are choosing to do, ibig sabihin, you can undo it. You can unchoose it. Meron bang word na unchoose? Okay. So, pwedeng hindi mo siya piliin. Pwede kang intentionally get out also of your state of being lonely. It's not, tawag doon, hindi siya yung tipong hopeless situation na hindi mo kontrolado. And kailangan lang na okay, sabihin natin, oy, government, okay, lift na yung yung mga protocols. Okay, dapat tanggalin nyo na yan, ganyan. So, naiinis na tayo, ang dami. Oh, ano na, lockdown na naman, hindi na naman ako makakalabas. Okay, so, siya, hindi siya actually nakarely on other people. That's very that's very important to recognize as well. When you acknowledge the feeling of loneliness and you acknowledge that you are creating it in yourself, then you have control over it and you can do something about it, not within your power and not in somebody else's control. Okay? So, here are the steps to overcoming loneliness. Actually, yung first part niyan, ito yung kanina ko pa dinidiscuss, which is acknowledge your feeling. Okay, it is important to remind yourself that loneliness isn't so much about isolation, or it isn't so much about the physical isolation. Rather, it is an emotional disconnection. It is an emotional disconnection that you have with the world or the people around you or the people on your friends list, diba? And also your family and relatives, okay? It is an emotional disconnection. Dati kasi kapag magkakasama tayo sa isang bayan, nga, sabi ko nga magkakasama, yung may emotion ka nararamdaman. Even actually if hindi kayo nagsasalitaan sa isa't isa, there is an emotion. Pero when we isolate ourselves, when naka-physical isolation natin, yun yung hindi natin maramdaman. So we have to make an effort to create that, that connection, that emotional connection. Okay? This is what it is manifesting in your life as the loneliness kapag nawala yung emotional connection natin with other people or with the world. And this is what you must acknowledge and own up. Okay? So yung second is evaluate the circumstance. Okay? Ito, like sometimes we acknowledge that we are feeling lonely and then we dismiss it. And then, or we ignore it. Or tinatakbuhan natin yung feeling. Actually, itong next 3 steps, okay? Itong next 3 steps are very important kasi this is how we really, tawag dito, know how to deal with the loneliness para hindi natin siya tinatakbuhan at iniiwasan. Kasi habang may tinatakbuhan tayo at saka may iniiwasan tayo, actually ang hirap mag-move forward. Okay? So yun, the second is evaluate your circumstance. Okay? And these are some questions that you can ask yourself. Okay? Why are you feeling lonely? Something, simple lang yung tanong. Simple lang naman yung tanong, pero mahirap sagutin. So why are you feeling lonely? This question alone kasi begs us to dig deeper inside us. And sometimes yun nga, yung masakit. Kaya natin tinatakbuhan. Kaya natin siya iniiwasan. Kaya lang, it's a part of the process that we have to ask ourselves, bakit nararamdaman natin yung loneliness or other emotion, sadness, your grief? What is the cause? So, when specifically do I feel lonely? Where is where specifically do I feel lonely? So, when and where? And then, where am I feeling lonely most often? Siguro, sa ilang months na ba yung pandemic? More than a year na? So March nag-start, so now is April, so 13 months na. So during the time of 13 months, where do you feel lonely most often? And then we have to evaluate how you got to this place of loneliness. Ito yung mga questions na dig deep questions natin. Okay, so how evaluate how you got into this place of loneliness. So, what events and circumstances led us or you to this place of loneliness? Ano ba yung nangyari? Okay? What could you have done differently at that time to potentially avoid this situation? Okay, I'm not potentially avoid this situation. And the thing is, naramdaman mo na siya. So, hindi mo na siya na-avoid. Ang nangyari lang, naramdaman mo siya, tinakbuhan natin siya. Kaya hindi natin alam ngayon kung paano natin siya i-avoid next time. Avoid in a way na parang, harapin mo pa rin naman, pero kumbaga, paano mo siya ma-overcome? Actually, that I think is a better word for it. How can we overcome it next time? Okay, what can I learn from this experience? There has to be something that we need to learn. We have to see something good, about the situation. Kasi as I've said earlier, loneliness is not there to break you. Okay? Loneliness is created, and it is created to serve a purpose. And it is to make you stronger. It is to build you up. Okay? So, what lesson are we learning from that experience? So, we have to see it. Knowing this, what could I do now to feel less lonely? Okay? So, since alam mo na it is telling you something. Alam mo na kung paano, ano yung mga events that led you to it, and then you are able to identify ano yung potential action that you can have done to overcome it. And now, what can we do to to feel less lonely at the moment? Okay? So, aside from evaluating the circumstances and how we got into the place of loneliness, it is also important uh, uh, to remember that yun nga, loneliness is a state of mind, and it's there not so much what happened to you that matters, but rather the result of how you perceive and responded to what happened at that time. And all this has to do with the expectation you have of yourself and possibly of other people. Kasi nung nandun ka sa sitwasyon, or ngayon, kung you are feeling lonely, ngayong current na sitwasyon na to, you are feeling that because you have some expectations of yourself and other people. Like katulad niyan, you are lonely, you are expecting other people to call you. You are expecting other people to connect with you. Or you are expecting na merong mag-i-invite sa'yo somewhere, or tawag dito, makita mo na merong nag-message sa'yo, walang nag-message sa'yo, yun. Doon tayo nadadali. Pero meron kasi nga tayong expectation. Your husband should call you, your friend should call you, your parents should call you. The thing is, di ba, ano naman yung expectation mo sa sarili mo? So, if you are expecting those things from others, yun din minsan yung expectation natin sa sarili natin. Bakit nga ba kasi hindi ko tinawagan si ganito? Bakit nga ba kasi, tawag dito, mas nag-focus ako dito kaysa yung makipagtawag, kaysa tawagan yung friend ko na ngayon, pwedeng hindi mo na siya makikita. Ayun, so, and then you felt lonely. Okay? So, what expectation do I have? What expectation do I have of myself and of other people? Are these expectations realistic and achievable? Okay, and what are more realistic expectation that would help me feel less lonely in this situation? Okay, so these are the questions that we need really to ask ourselves. And if you want a copy of this, just connect with me, and I can help you process go to this process. Okay, so the third um steps to overcoming loneliness. So first, we have that acknowledging your situation, and then evaluating the circumstance. And the third is stop wallowing in self-pity. Kasi yun yung, um, actually, yun yung by default nagiging reaction natin. Okay? Na pag na-feel natin yung loneliness without really processing it, okay, ang next doon is yung self-pity. Sasabihin natin sa sarili natin, ay, mag-isa lang ako, wala akong kasama, hindi ako importante. Ayun. So, be very, very mindful of those situations where you fall into self-pity. Okay? Doon kasi, baka yun kasi yung mas trigger or will lead us to that, yun nga, depression and then thoughts of suicide. Okay? So, don't blame yourself for your problems, for your failure, or for your inadequacy. Kasi nga, yun nga, loneliness is just really a state of mind. It's just that you are thinking something, or the events that happened to you, the circumstance that happened, lead you to think of something that makes you feel lonely. Okay, so hindi mo siya kasalanan. Loneliness is a valid emotion, a natural emotion that we feel. Hindi mo siya, although it is created within us. Hindi natin kasalanan na nakaramdam tayo ng loneliness. And hindi siya mali na makaramdam tayo ng loneliness. So that's why let's not blame ourselves for feeling lonely. So don't use that self-pity as an excuse to emotionally disconnect yourself with the rest. Okay? Kasi, yun nga, mag-isa na tayo, physically mag-isa tayo, and then may iniisip tayo na mag-isa tayo, and then mas lalo pa tayo magsi-self-pity, lalo na tayong hindi magko-connect sa ibang tao. So, lagi nga naming sinasabi dito sa Life Coach Philippines, no to isolation. Okay? Don't isolate yourself. Yes, isolate physically kasi we are in the pandemic, but don't isolate yourself mentally and emotionally. So, it's better to connect even if you are feeling down, especially when you are feeling down. Okay, it's best to connect. Okay, hello Coach Lynn. Ayun, Mayor Leonard. Good afternoon. Happy lunchtime. Sabi dito ni um, Coach Rezzhel, loneliness is a lack of purpose. Coach Hasmin, loneliness is not the lack of company, it is the lack of purpose. Yes. Coach Lynn, ang ganda ng message sa background mo. If you don't take risks, you can create a future. Sa mga fan dyan ng One Piece, fan din naman ako niyan. Okay? I have so many things that are related to One Piece. And yan. That's one of the quote ni Luffy, okay, that I really, really want to remember and to imbibe. Okay. So, si Coach Mao sabi dito, loneliness is created for a purpose. Yes, Coach Mao. Coach Lynn, acknowledge your emotions. Hello, Coach Trisha, watching from Bicol. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we're down to our last step. We're still in the third step pala. So, don't blame yourself. Under the stop wallowing in self-pity, okay? Don't blame yourself, and then stop comparing yourself with other people. Again, when we compare ourselves to other people, please make it as an inspiration, not as not actually as a comparison in a way na we will feel lacking in ourselves. So, pag meron tayong isang tao na inaay natin, sana we feel inspiration. Pero if it's just for us, na i-compare mo natin yung sarili natin sa ibang tao and then we feel that, ay, buti pa siya ganon, bakit ako ganito lang? And then we feel that inadequacy, okay, in ourselves. O, na lang, please, be aware of that and be aware of when to stop. Okay? Stop comparing ourselves to others. Third, and then we have to focus on ourselves. Okay, instead of comparing ourselves to other people and thinking of what they have that we don't have, we focus on ourselves. Kasi the only comparisons that we can make should be with ourselves. Ano ba tayo kahapon? Ano ba tayo ngayon? Are we better today than yesterday? Okay, or kumbaga parang we aim to be better today or tomorrow than today or today than yesterday. Okay, only compare yourself to the best that you can be at any moment in time. So sarili lang talaga natin is strive to be better and take a step forward to develop a deeper emotional bond and connection with yourself, okay, and with other people. Kasi yung loneliness, the purpose of that really is, sabi ni Coach Mau, di ba? Na-catch ni Coach Mau loneliness is created for a purpose. Okay. That loneliness kasi, if we think about it, if we just change our mind, okay, being alone, or yung pag-iisa natin, is actually an opportunity for us to develop a deeper relationship with ourselves, to discover more things about ourselves. Dati, lagi natin sinasabi, busy. Ay, hindi natin magawa yung ganito busy. Bakit? Saan busy? Sa traffic. Kasi, totoo lang, dati before pandemic, pagpunta pa lang sa office, it will take you what? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Minsan may mga kalahating araw nasa biyahe. Isa lang, papunta pa lang ng office yun, may pauwi pa. So, oo nga naman. Saan napunta yung oras mo? Napunta lang sa traffic. So now, actually, what the pandemic did to us is nawala naman yung mga times na yon. There might be other things that have replaced it, but yun, it also begs for us to be aware of it. Ano bang pinalit natin? Doon sa traffic dati. Ano bang pinalit natin ngayon? Ano bang ginagawa natin ngayon na hindi nag-replace to that? At bakit hindi pa rin natin nagagawa yung mga gusto nating gawin? So that kung ano man yung ini-replace natin, it might be the things that we should be doing. So, yun. The fourth is taking responsibility. Okay, so the first one is acknowledge the feeling. The second one is to evaluate, assessment of your circumstance. The third is stop wallowing in self-pity. And then the fourth is take responsibility. Okay, so it is not about the blame. Kapag blame kasi, okay, blaming yourself and taking responsibility on yourself is two separate things. Okay, pa-blame kasi sinisisi mo yung sarili mo and then what it makes you feel really is inadequacy or self-pity. Mas kinaawan mo lang. You're beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. Instead, yun nga, take responsibility. Alam mo na ikaw yung nag-create nun and then it is a natural event or it is a natural feeling that we feel. So, ano ngayon yung pwede nating gawin? There is something, taking responsibility is acknowledging that you have control over these emotions. Hindi ito kontrolado ng ibang tao. So it's not the blame, but rather about taking full responsibility for your life and the circumstance. And when you take responsibility, you are at that moment taking yourself in the driver's seat Okay? And placing your destiny in your control. Okay? So when we take responsibility, it is actually yun nga, sabi ko, acknowledging that we can do something about it. Okay? And then remind yourself that nothing happens overnight. And that you won't suddenly overcome that feeling of loneliness in one day. This is a process and it takes time. So lagi din namin sinasabi dito as coaches and the Life Coach Philippines, it is a process. And a process always takes time. Kapag I mean, kapag it did not take any time, like lang, with the snap of a finger, ayun na, nawala na. It's not actually a process. It's a magic. But everything that we go through is a process. And that's where actually we learn. It's through journeying on the process. Okay? And then, taking responsibility means actively living your life and taking intentional action to reconnect. Okay? To reconnect with other people, to reconnect with yourself. Again, uh, our feeling of loneliness. Okay? We can, tawag dyan, we acknowledge that we create it within us. So we can take responsibility to shift it. Okay? To do something about it. And one thing that we can do is, or actually the only thing that we can do is to reconnect. Reestablish that connection that we lost. In this time, let's be intentional. Dati kasi, it's just default. Parang binigay lang sa atin ng sitwasyon na, o kaya ang dami nating kasamang ibang tao. So, it doesn't really take an effort to connect with other people. Kasi nandyan na sila. Physically, pwede ka lang kumalabit ng ibang tao. At this time, it will really take an effort. And mind you, it is worthwhile. It is worth your time to engage with other people. Mas masaya siya kaysa yung nag-isolate. Okay? So, and there are other ways to reconnect with other people, and that will be that's what I'll be sharing with you in my next episode 2 Sundays from now. So, abangan nyo rin yan on how to reconnect with other people. So, remember that you are enough. Okay? You matter and you are important. There are people who cares about you. We care about you. Kung kailangan mo lang ng kausap, ayun, people at DCAP, you can go there. Open siya ng anong oras nga ba? 8 a.m. on 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. ngayon or 5 p.m. yata ngayong pandemic. Or you can actually just connect with Coach Rezzhel. It's 0917-586-1661. If you just need to connect with other people, or just message me as well if kailangan mo ng kausap, and I would be glad to connect with you kasi alam ko, naramdaman ko yung nararamdaman, and hindi siya magandang experience, pero it takes us effort to connect with other people. Okay, yun. Again, what I want really for you to learn, or kung meron man kayong natandaan on this lesson, one thing that gusto kong matandaan nyo is yung quote kanina, that loneliness is not the absence of company. Hindi dahil mag-isa ka kung saan ka man naroroon, you should be feeling lonely. It is actually the purpose. So we can create a purpose. Okay? Sabi nga natin, 'di ba? God created us for a purpose. What that purpose is, hindi lang din yan hindi ka rin naghihintay. Ano bang purpose ko? Okay. We create that purpose. Actually, we create it by reconnecting with God, establishing our connection with God. knowing what He really made us here for. Okay? So, create, let us create a purpose and let us reestablish that connection with ourselves and with other people. So, don't isolate, especially now, don't isolate mentally and emotionally. There are ways to connect. There are others around you who cares. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. And as I close, I invite you to be back tomorrow, same time and same digital space for Coach Lynn. Her topic is facing the unknown. So see you tomorrow. Love bam boom, love bam boom, love bam boom. Bye!